Alright, what's up guys? Done this here, day 400 and I don't know, 32, 33, who knows. I'm never really good with sort of counting my days and stuff like that. You should know that from since I've pretty much started. So differently, what I've done today is actually a bit of palmar cooling. I didn't start my pull-ups until 11:45 p.m. It's quite late. Past few nights I've been staying up quite late watching Manifest. I finished the season, so I feel like I shouldn't watch any television for the next sort of couple of weeks. I've been wasting a lot of time and effort and sleep on watching TV series, so I'll need to back off for a little bit. Hopefully you guys can actually hear what I'm saying. Back to what I was talking about, palmar cooling. Something slightly different. You would have noticed, or you may not have actually saw, before starting off my sets, which you'll see shortly. I was actually holding a bottle, ice cold beer, not as cold anymore because my hands are super hot, but I've been warming, cooling my hands down and obviously warming up my beer, so I better take a little sip. Just some low carb beer, Asahi, pretty good stuff. It's a dry beer. So 1 second. Okay, cool. So I'm not a big drinker at all. Usually one or two gets me going. Even just a one, especially if I'm tired, hits me pretty well. Most people take 4 or 5 beers to kick in and make them feel a bit happy. For me, it's uno, just the one, jikai, iga, yako, ichi. That's just me. I've been like that most of my life, minus in my early sort of uni days where I would hit the piss often. But these days, not very often, and one gets me going. So yeah, utilise a bit of palmar cooling, and did feel exhausted today. Probably didn't sleep as well as I should have last night, even though I slept in. Just hours were off and stuff like that. Didn't sleep until like 3:30 a.m. But yeah, did my palmar cooling pre pull-ups with a bit of chalk on my hands, and success. Hit the 50 reps. Not as easy as I thought, but having said that, my conditions for a maximal effort was very poor, so I do heavily feel as though the palmar cooling aspects push me through and push me across the lines. And I also did a bit of it, you'll see later on, between my push-ups as well, which I probably didn't do enough palmar cooling between sets. And additionally, my beer was getting a bit warm already from my initial handling of the beer, so kind of drinking warmish beer now. But anyways, check out the vid. That's all I got. I'll talk a little bit over the video itself as per usual. I need to go to bed because I've got to wake up early tomorrow to drive to work. Not working from home tomorrow, so kind of good to get out of the home office environment. Anyways, peace. I don't know what to do. And out. Alright guys, so you totally got it wrong. It's day 433. Like I said in the introduction, that I rarely get the days right when I'm sort of half guessing, even though I'm doing my pull-ups every single day. Seriously, if I didn't, have my legs attached to me, I wouldn't know how to walk, or I wouldn't be able to find my feet, or I don't know, that type of saying. Don't really know what I'm talking about right now. Anyways, so doing my pull-up side of things, like I said, palmar cooling, utilizing a beer bottle. The problem with using a cold beer is that you can probably get maximum of 1 set out of palmar cooling. After that, the bottle kind of goes too warm, not cool enough to create a consistent sort of coolness to your palms, especially if you've been working relatively hard. Heat pulls out of your palms, it tries to release heat, cools itself down through the vessels that way. So from trying to cool your palms down to cool your body down, etc. Essentially, you are also warming up whatever you're touching. So to accelerate the cooling process, you also accelerate the heating process in the making. So dead hang, doing pretty well. I felt relatively, not, let's be honest, it's never super duper easy when I do my 50 pull-ups. I think I need to slowly start changing my mindset from 50 to maybe 60 pull-ups, only because if I continue thinking 50 is a goal, I'll never surpass that 50 reps in a comfort level. It'll always be difficult. So that's just my own, what I think and what I believe. I'm sure there's some form of data. Look, let's be honest. If you're looking up any form of research or hypothesis, etc., you can generally find a documented analysis, a research data, or research paper, I should say, that's going to support your hypothesis, providing you know what you're looking for. And that's also with a reasonable amount of peer-reviewed papers and stuff like that. The thing which gets people acknowledging and putting a thumbs up towards their hypothesis in an everyday world is what's differing this person to that person is going to be their ability to critically think, background information. If you're a scientist, you've got a biological background, whereas your everyday person's got a Google background or a Facebook degree, that type of stuff. So that's the kind of difference. And don't get me wrong, those out there who don't have a degree or, academia behind some of their knowledge, they can be absolutely correct and totally right against the dude with a PhD. It's got to be the way you assess and relate to it, and if it works for you, then fantastic, because what works for you may not work for someone else. So hence why research papers and journals and stuff like that with their hypothesis, it can be always going for or against you. Anyways, attempted to do a bit of palm cooling prior to my push-ups here, and totally didn't feel that warm. Didn't feel that cool to touch, and I didn't feel as though I was able to cool my palms as much as I did initially when I did my initial pull-ups. Having said that, doing my initial pull-ups, I wasn't heated up already, so that probably made a difference. What I've noticed actually with doing incorporating, I should say, push-ups into my daily movements is keep on watching towards the end even. Previously when I hit 20, my lower back actually starts to sag quite a bit. I've noticed that the sagging in my lower back is starting to reduce quite a lot. Additionally, previously I could only do 20 push-ups. Last night I did 40 in a row. Today I did 30, only because A, am hot, B, I just smashed out 50 pull-ups, and C, I'm totally exhausted because of last night. I stayed up until 3:30 a.m. watching Manifest. My own fault, no one to blame other than myself, and maybe one of my wife's friends who suggested watching it, so I blame you a little bit, but thank you also for letting me making me aware of something awesome to watch. So thank you, and I also hate you. Not hate you, but point my finger at you. Just showing you 10 push-ups front on and 10 push-ups on side on as well. I swear angles make a huge difference, because I felt as though these last 10 push-ups felt exactly the same as the first 30 push-ups which I did. So whereas these look like a better range of motion, possibly because I've slowed it down a little bit more. Whew, yep. Alright guys, so new revelation, new skill up. Watching a YouTube video with a bloke who was doing airwalk front levers. Thought I'd give it a shot tonight, but obviously not as clean, not as flat as I'd like. However, in doing so, I felt as though I, was able to hold the front lever longer than 0.5 of a second. So you know what, guys? I'm taking it as a win. You don't like it? Too bad. However, please support me because it felt really good and I'm pretty excited about it. Anyways, thanks guys. Peace.